Things off. My name
Let's
is Jeff
roll.
Henwood. I'm the Senior Director of Policy and Advocacy with Alberta Municipalities, and I'd like to welcome you all to today's webinar, Grants in Your Municipality, Economic Development Grants. So here at ABmunis, we are committed to helping you, our members, access grant funding, and many of you have told us that you'd like to learn more about this space. Before I introduce our host, I'd like to mention that we have teamed up with Alberta Business Grants to bring you the latest information on available grants via weekly newsletter. You can sign up for the Grant Gazette by visiting abmunis.ca, joint programs, municipal and not-for-profit grants. And so with that out of the way, I'd like to introduce David Kincade, founder of Alberta Business Grants. David's background includes 13 years as a successful grant writer. He is the lead instructor for the Advanced Grant Writing course and author of Golden Grant Rules, the ultimate guide for winning government grants. Over to you, David.
Thank you very much, Jeff, and thank you everybody for coming today. In the chat, I just put the sign up for the Gazette, so you can, if you're not on, I know a number of you are already receiving it. So please let me know. Caleb, you raised your hand. Can you just throw your question in the chat right now? If that's a question, sometimes people raise their hand by accident, so I just want to. The other, yeah. So the other thing we do during this, this is part of an 8 webinar series, and today we're going to be talking about economic development grants. We typically will do a poll just to help with our funders know who's attending, where they're from, and stuff. So we launch a poll right now. It's totally optional, but it helps us report 2 questions. Basically, we want to know sort of where you come geographically. No problem. And also your grant experience just kind of helps me. So I'm going to launch that right now. I share the results with you. It is, here it comes here. So I will launch. You should see it right now. Yep, seems to be working. Oh, this is going to be good. It's always nice to have a good mix. And I'll have it up there a few more seconds. There's a couple last strands. You don't have to, but if you'd like to, we appreciate it very much. With that, I will. Thank you very much. That's a great turnout. And now I'll share the results with you so you can see who's going on here. I'm going to end the poll and share results. Check this out. You should be able to see it. Jeff, do you see that okay?
I do.
Wow, 26% of you have been doing this for 5 years. I always give you a shout out because I have so much respect for you for continuing to improve and learn and get on here. So, and to you new people, welcome to you as well, for sure. Don't worry, nothing's going to be over your head. But so we're glad to have you. So you can see that we have a great group. I think you're going to find today's content pretty helpful. At least I certainly hope so. Now let's move to that. We'll jump right into it. So we're going to do things a little bit different this week. For those of you that have been following our series, I'm going to attach something in the I'm going to attach a document in the portal for you. Here it comes right now. You should see that. Can everyone open that up? Just let me just maybe give me a note, say, hey, I got it, just so that we're on the same page. Now, where I got this, anyone get it? Got it. Thanks, Ash. Thanks, Sally. Couple things here this is going to be a bit of a different webinar, okay? And I think this webinar is going to be AI friendly. And typically what I do is we do some slides, we go through the slides, we take questions. But as I was working on this over the last few weeks, I'm like, I'm just going to share my whole like notes, make this sort of like a reader friendly document with all the hyperlinks so that it can really get your skills up. Because that's really what we're trying to do here, right? Like you've got scarce resources, you're trying to learn to do wing grants and figure it out. So I'm going to literally share my screen. We're going to go over it, and then we're going to set a timer for 10 minutes, and I want you to read it. And I know that's unusual, but that's how Amazon does things, and it's very effective, and I think it's going to be very effective for us. After that, when the timer's done, I'm going to go through some of the key points, then we're going to have a discussion. So very hands-on experience we're about to go through here. Now I'm going to share. with you what this looks like. And Jeff, just give me a thumbs up that you're okay seeing this. Perfect. So as you go through here, now a couple like friendly things. So remember the grant calendar session we did? You probably printed that off. You have a binder. Now you can sort of have this economic development document that you can make your own. And I would encourage you to put your town logo on this. Take our logos off and maybe leave ABmunis on there. But you can take mine off and you can put the your municipality. Now here, I just want you to see these are the terms to know, assumptions, today's desired outcomes. This is very straightforward to read. This is big, this is pictures and all kinds of stuff. Economic grants, we're going to talk about tourism grants, export, labor, and some grants for businesses. And then I'm going to give you a checklist. So right now, I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. And I want you to familiarize yourself with the content. And here it comes right now. You can start reading it now. If you're having any problems opening it, please let me know. And we will see you in 10 minutes. Jeff, feel free to turn your screen right off if you want. And you don't have to sit here and be stared at if you don't want to. And we'll come on 10 minutes. And I'm watching the chat, okay? Thank you, Rochelle. All right. Get reading. Pour your coffee. I'm going to stop talking to you. Oops, sorry. Put the wrong one. And we'll see you in 10 minutes. Okay, we're going to do an extra minute here. For those of you that are done, what I want you, because some people got it late, for those of you that are done, go to ChatGPT, open up ChatGPT, attach the document in there, and say, what are the three key points to this document? So, those of you done, throw it into ChatGPT, say, summarize this document, give me the three main points, see what it says, and we're going to give you the final minute for you folks that have joined us, or not joined us late, but had a hard time opening the document. Okay. I really hope my instructions on the sorry, I had a lot going on. I haven't done this before. And I had like chats going on and attachments. Did you hear Jeff, did my chat GBT instruction come across? It did. Okay. Okay, good. Did anybody do it? Just let me know in the chat if you did that. Rochelle, did you do that? Oh, you don't have, yeah. Was it kind of cool? I thought it was kind of neat. It's kind of interesting, right? Like in terms of presentations, yeah, like and I just wanted to make this like I wonder how presentations are going to be in the future. Let's go through. If you weren't able to open it, I've emailed it to you. Stick around after. I've attached it in many ways as I can. We'll get you the document. Don't worry about that. And for those of you that weren't able to open this, we're doing the best we can here. Let's go through this. And Jeff, do you mind the people who are chatting? If you could email them and take that over, that would be helpful for me. And I'm just going to go through this document with people, and then we're going to open up the floor to discussions and questions. I've got the chat up here on the side. So as we're going through some of the 5 points, feel free to comment or ask a question or something. I'm going to just do this at the same time. All right. I just like to make this a little bit more engaging. And I am going to try to stick to my schedule, which is like definitely don't want to go more than I was going to try to keep this to 10 minutes, but let's just see how we do. What is ChatGPT? Well, we'll get to that after. It's an AI tool. Now, terms you should know now that you've had a time to read this, but I wanted to basically the main point here is, some of you have taken my class, this desired outcome of that's cool. The main point, which when you get into grants, sometimes you can bury the lead. You do not want to do that, right? You do not want to bury the lead. Jeff, just give me a thumbs up. You can see the screen that I'm looking at. Okay. Okay, perfect. Eligible applicants, for you new folks, that's the person who receives the grant, and the eligible expense is the consultant, or in some cases, the municipality that I'm going to show you in this document, where you could be on the expense side and benefit from it. So it's good to know about that. Exports, this foreign direct investments, kind of that. Some of you who are from the economic departments will know what that is, obviously. But according to the definition online, it's foreign direct investment occurs when a global company chooses to do business in Canada. Provincial grants and thinking for yourself. Again, a lot of this is my ideas and experience. You're smart. You have experience. 25% of you have been doing this for 5 years. So, I will always say at the beginning, use your brain at the end, but hopefully there's a tool or tip in here for you. Now, in terms of my assumptions, I always approach this stuff very technically in some ways, right? Like it's called political science, that idea of some of it's formal and some of it's informal. What I mean by formal, I'm talking about formal institutions, right? Like courts and things like that. Informal would be like media, things that can influence policy. But when I get into grants, I like to be as clear as possible. Like, oh yeah, okay, our constitution, the provincial powers run municipal institutions. And those of you that don't have sort of that political background, this is a political topic, right? You know, you're seeing that there was recent bill around, hey, the province saying, hey, federal government, butt out of our jurisdiction. So there's always this tension going on between federal and municipal. And if you're going to become great at grants, you got to know how the game works, right? Structurally, formally. So I just put that in there for you. And I always encourage people, look, understand how this sucker works, not necessarily how you wish it worked. And I say that to this audience because you're dealing with the public, you're dealing with elected officials, you're dealing with online comments. Can I get a witness? So there's a lot of moving things. And I want you to understand, okay, this is the game I'm playing. These are the rules. How do I, do well? The next set of assumptions I've got is when you get into economic grants, and I'll say a lot of grants, particularly economic grants, think counting, right? You want to be like, okay, if I put this money in, what do I get out? And you should almost be able to write it down. And I gave an example of a grant I won for a few $1,000,000. And this was the basic structure of it, this idea of, hey, look, over 3 years, this company will generate this many leads, from these countries. We're going to close 10% of those leads, triple the revenue, create jobs. Notice how that's just 4 lines. However, as I mentioned in the next point, getting that out of our team is both a skill and a soft and hard skill, right? Soft skill in the sense of, hey, I've got to be liked, I've got to get information. In the hard school of like, how do we extract that? How do we build good project scope statement? How do we schedule working sessions to get that information? So the hardest part, sometimes people get it mixed up. I say it's getting that information out of people's brains and teams and getting them on the same page. So you can spend some more time reading that. But when you do get to submitting it, if you do it this way, I find you feel really good. You're like, hey, okay, we've come up with a very clear project. I can explain it on a napkin. I can almost say, right? Okay, we're going to do this, this, and this. By the way, the first draft of this was like, we get thousands of leads, right? And it's like, do you really? Do you get thousands of leads? What are we really talking about? And so there's that resilience kind of character part of you, whether you're a CAO or a future CAO, that you've got to have that pushback of like, really? Like, what is realistic here? Because as you can see in this presentation, the grant agency is getting like all of these different images or all these applications. So they're going to be able to compare from similar sized communities. So bottom line, I always argue, keep it really simple, explain it on a napkin, and solve one of these provincial and federal problems, and you're becoming an elite grant writer. Like you just become exceptional when you're solving political problems, both provincially and federally, but in your own unique way. All right? But you're still with me? Let's keep going. Now, I put in objectives of this, but one is like you're going to identify grants. Oftentimes when ABmunis first reached out to me, they're like, hey, Dave, CAOs want a list of grants. And I'm like, I think what they want is a submitted application that moves the economic needle, that wins, right? But sometimes in grants, it can be very, like there's so many moving parts that sometimes people miss the main point. So what we want to do is look at projects being funded. I thought this would be a very simple way for you to be like, what's going on out there, right? Like who's getting this money? Obviously, another objective would be benefit from economic development grants going to other organizations. And I give you an example down below. You probably saw at the energy conference in Calgary. They get grant funding. All of the big companies come there. So if your municipality is looking at carbon capture and storage or trying to get companies, well, there's a grant that is going to do that. You're not going to get it, but you could benefit from it. Easily explain. And this is a big one. I've worked with politicians for 4 years, so I can feel your pain out there. And that is, staying focused and not getting distracted. I mean, it's the world we live in. So I'm not I'm not picking on any one sector. We all have to deal with that. So I'm not going to spend too much more time on this, but basically what I'm trying to get at here is walk, don't run. I know it's a very fast world. You're limited resources, as I've mentioned, but just slow down. You're in the knowledge business. Use your brain. Stay focused. Don't get distracted. It's a difficult job. They are elected people. So it's a real skill set and it's a challenge to be able to, organize this in a way of, okay, we're going to do this project. This is the outcome. And you're communicating that effectively so you're getting buy-in. Not an easy thing to do, but I think if you follow the structure a bit, I think you're going to have a lot more success. Now, outcomes. For those of you following along, this is really important because I think as I've spent a lot of time thinking this through, like, you want high quality grants submitted. How many? You want more businesses and jobs. You want more visitor dollars spent in your region, whether you're in a tourism area or an area where there's tourism, maybe hunting, fishing, those type of things. Foreign direct investment, you have achievable goals and you want to be able to measure and it's easily communicate. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is if someone says to you, what have you done for me lately? Or some various version of that, I strongly recommend you have a clear, simple criteria for how you're being evaluated. Like you want to say, hey, when I started, we had this many businesses and this many jobs. Our plan to grow is to get this many more businesses and this many jobs at the end of my term. And then you can say, we're going to do it through 3 projects and you're going to get grants for those projects. Do you see how easy that is to communicate, or relatively easy? In a noisy world, that can be hard. So just be very clear on what you're counting. You're counting the right thing as well. I'll talk about this in a minute, visitor dollars. But if you're not doing that can be a problem. But I'll show you what I mean. Key points, again, read the provincial, federal reports in your space, whether that's tourism, clean energy. And remember, this is kind of where I want you to be on this desired outcome, right? Hey, where are we at with grants? First of all, I don't want you to get that question. I want you to be more proactive about it. But if you get asked it, you want to get to a place where, hey, we have 2 grants that will help us create 15 new businesses and 150 new high quality jobs. Or we have 1 tourism grant that will increase visitor dollars from 5 million to 10 million in 3 years. This is concrete and clear and where I want you to get with. Now, I know I said I would go to 12:30, but I'm going to go a little bit longer here because we've got to the top of the hour, but I'll try to move as quick as I can. This goes a little bit faster. Economic development, economic diversification grants. So I didn't know how to communicate this to you clearly, but I was like, there's physical and then there's the mental side of grants. Physical is these things are changing, right? Putting them together, a lot of you already know this, but for you new people, this takes a lot longer than you think, especially around partnerships. And then there are other factors like Bill 18, aligning with federal money with provincial priorities. So you've got to be aware of those things as well. And then on the mental side, understanding the federal government has economic and grant goals. In some cases, you will align very clearly with them, like say AI or something. And be intentional about what you want to do so you're not getting distracted by chasing grants. And again, I know I've worked with politicians for 4 years. New grants can come out, can be highly distractive, and I just want you to get as focused as you can. So I'll go quickly through these grants. Those of you that have been part of our grant calendar webinar, you'll remember we have a list of grants, but this is the economic agency federally that gives out money. So you'll see there. I thought this was super cool, and I put the link for you, but you can see what other communities are doing. Check this out. So this is the grant here, right? They've got different grants within that agency, so you've got downtown parks. I love this. There was this shout out to Grand Prairie. They're doing great. City and the county having a joint project on trails. Then you've got Main Street revitalization, pathways at Brooks, Red Deer. Look at this. They did mural upgrade. Isn't this kind of cool? I thought this was really cool as I got into this. And you'll be happy to know that there was like all these different economic projects, right? It's like, oh my gosh, there's a bunch of them. So I created a checklist for you at the bottom of this document, and you can go through and be like, oh, these are all the type of economic grants. Which ones do we want to do in which year? I thought that was cool. I hope you do too. Anyway, um, with this plan, you can take it to council and in the public on a regular basis. You can say, you can also say we don't want to create an agency, even though there's a grant for that. And then as a takeaway here, have a clear agreement on the number one economic development priority in your municipality. I think this will just make the life of the grant writer much easier in my life, having done this for a long time, getting that agreement and then moving forward. Because I mean, the hot seat, some of you are in some hot seats. Most of us all are in hot seats. I tried to put, we've all heard of keeping up with the Joneses, and you don't want to do it. You want to like save money and not spend on frivolous things. But I thought, in this particular case, it's very helpful to know what the neighbors are doing, how much they're getting, and what it's for. So now down here, this is another grant within Prairies Can. And I just wanted to show you, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but you'll see a municipality can win it. It talks about eligible costs, and you can see the city of Edmonton, Edmonton Unlimited, and here's all the grants. See, they say our funders, talks about mandate, and then look here in the open grant database. And if you click on this, it'll take you, the open grant database is a list of grants who all the federal grants are listed publicly. So it's really, really good tool. We go through it in my course a lot, but anyway, it's helpful. And then I went and saw this in Startup YMM. Shout out to anyone if Fort McMurray's on here. Now, I'm sure you may have won a grant, but I didn't see it. It wasn't on the website that I saw. And so if you're another municipality or like this, just make sure, hey, there's a grant over there for that. I want to make sure I get this. So I've got some takeaways there for you. Go into the grant database, and understand your role too. Like when we talk about a municipality, like I talk about industrialness in someone, right? It's hard to get someone off a couch, for example, and go out and start a business, but you can have the tools that for those that do want to do it, the resources are there. So then I got a checklist for you there that will help you dig into that a little bit further. Here's your provincial one. Again, Grand Prairie did one on investment attraction action plan. And I thought this was just cool. Look, Westlock, HVAC. I kind of, when I was thinking about economic grants, I was like, oh, I wasn't thinking about all these different things. Beautification, signage, social media readiness, investment attraction, industrial land. I thought this was really cool stuff. So this should give you an idea of Camrose did tourism. Shout out to Lacombe. So takeaways, diverse projects, pick one that works for you, be proactive, and connect with someone who won one similar as I would. Now, on the tourism side, understand the needs, build relationships. But the key point I want you to take here is look at this. They have strategies. Remember I was saying at the beginning, follow their strategies. So read it. Municipal are eligible. This will talk you about activities. And this is really what I want to show you. You come down here. Oh, this is your federal. Here's your provincial. Is that federal? Apologize. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, that's on Prairies Can, the federal tourism one. So then there's a provincial one. So here's a rural, municipalities are eligible. And then I thought this was super cool. Look at this. Sundry tells you what they're doing. It doesn't say the amount, but it does say what they've won for. Now, this is a really important slide. This image, I should say image. And that is the business plan for Travel Alberta. Look what they have, their desired headline. Steering Alberta's tourism sector toward $25 billion in visitor spend. Now think about when you're writing an economic development grant for tourism. Do you think that is an important metric for you to count? Do you think it should be the number one desired headline? This project is going to create or increase visitor spend in our area from X to Y by when? Of course it is. But if you're not taking the time walking and running instead of running, up front. You wouldn't know this. Counting, business plans, I'm going to just go through. I just want to give you a couple of points on export. So, look, there are municipalities. You can be part of a trade mission if there's a country you're targeting. This was the trade show I was talking. It's in Calgary every year. So all these organizations will be going there. Maybe you should be going. If it's part of your economic plan, you should be getting this in your calendar earlier, getting approval and say, look, we're not going to get all these companies to come to our municipality, but it's huge. It's like 30,000 people go or something like that. We need to be there. Maybe you need to have a booth there, double down on it. But what I'm trying to show you is you go into economic space, this is where grant money is going. And so, not you directly, but you want to benefit from it. But you got to be intentional. Another one would be Edmonton Global. Look, they won a $3 million grant for foreign direct investment. So if you're around Edmonton, or I'm sure there's a version in Calgary, are you engaged? How's this money being spent? Is it benefiting you? On the labor front, I'm just going to bring this to a close here. But look at all these different grants from municipalities, business expansion, workforce. You can read it, so I won't read them all. But look at all the different municipalities winning and what they're doing. Now, the last main point I have for you, and then we'll take some questions if you have any, is even I get surprised. I'm like, where did this grant come from? But this one, and I linked the article here. They won. This was a company. It was in Ontario. Came out west. They got a $2.73 million grant, and so they were expanding. And this one towards our Lethbridge. Shout out Lethbridge. There's the Alberta Investment Growth Fund. Google that. Try to find out where that grant is sometime. Just see if you can find it. But what I'm trying to show you is a local business expanded. So I think part of your economic strategy, if I can be so bold or humble to suggest, is, you know, helping your winners, like grants love to go to winners, you know, finding out they're sitting right there, all the infrastructure is there. They've been in business for 10 years. They're winning. They want to grow more, help them be successful. And I think that could be, one of your key performance indicators is helping local businesses get, especially your big ones, who can get these large grants and expand. And with that, here's the checklist for you. But you can see all the different items here, which I think is super cool. So that can give you an idea of where funding's going in a way it goes. Now, a bit of an unusual presentation. Hopefully, I thought it was really interesting. I hope you did too. And we'll take some questions if you want, or comments in the chat. And if not, thank you for your time. There'll be a survey at the end. We're always trying to get feedback, but I'd love to know if you like the feedback. The format of reading it and then kind of getting a chance to process it. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Stuart, I'm in the Q&A box right now. I don't see anything, but into the chat, there are a couple. Investment Growth Fund does not have an open application. It is managed by Jobs, Economy and Trade and acts as an incentive for businesses to expand or locate in the province. So I think that's just a tip from the government of Alberta there over how that specific program operates.
Yeah. And I think this is just good for you to know. Like if you're in economic development and, the part of the money is part of your job is finding out where the money is, right? And I'm trying to get you to think like also, okay, where's the grants? Then what is the money being spent for? You're like, oh, okay, it's going to pathways. It's going to revitalizing the main street. And then if I'm in your shoes and I've got all these stakeholders, I can then easily communicate that. At least I can, right? I can say, you know what? Last year we had X amount of visitors. If we revitalize our main street, which we've wanted to do for a long time, or whatever your project is, we put in 400,000, make it look good, put planters in. We think we can increase it by 10% year over year or something. It's really cool.
Uh, Also in the chat, we have, is there a winning template to use when applying for grants?
Is there a winning template? That's a good question. Is there a winning template? I would say winning grants is is this, I'm biased, obviously, but I think you have to be really, really talented to be great at grants because you have to have that soft skill, the hard skills. You have to have research skills, and you have to have, like, even today, economic skills. Like, you have to be a very diverse person to really do well at grants. And usually, if you're really good at grants, if you've got someone who's really good at grants or really smart, there's a couple who are on this right now that I've worked with in my course, and they're extremely smart. That's what I always usually say. Sorry to be blunt, but I find my smartest people and I put them on grants.
And Dave, just to jump in again over some more details on the investment growth fund. But economic development officers can ask for support for businesses through the fund in their community. If an existing business is looking to expand or potentially looking at leaving, they can seek support through their regional economic specialists with JET to try
Nice.
and access that grant, that fund.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
and similarly, talking about winning templates, there's a question over when hiring a grant coordinator, what sort of skills and experience do you think a candidate should have?
Well, it's kind of a mix, right? Like, it's because grants touch all areas of your life. So it's like interpersonal, research, government, but also business. And then they need to be a good communicator. And you kind of need to be like sometimes I call it like smart disease. Like, sometimes I get people and I'm working with them. I'm like, oh, you have smart person syndrome. And smart person syndrome is like someone who's like pretty smart, and they sound smart, but they don't say anything. And you know, we all can suffer from that. But a really smart person says, this project is going to solve this problem. It's going to create, it's going to cost this much, it's going to create this many jobs, and this is the outcome at the end. Like, it's very concrete. And I find it's like a doer, you know? I mean, I don't want to call anyone's name out here, but I know there's a couple of people on here who do really well at grants as well. And if you want to add anything, feel free to do so.
Um, and maybe this is a question for Lisa, but someone else is looking for a link to the investment in growth fund. Um, Poking around on the website and can't find it. But Lisa, if
That's right.
you're around and able to share the chat, I think that'd be appreciated. Not to
Yep.
put work on attendees, but
Yeah. But also, it kind of just goes to show you like the complexity of it, right? It's like, this is why we're doing this series to say, hey, this over here, oh, it's not even on this site. They do it this way. It's over here. So it's by coming today, you're taking a big step forward. If Jeff, if you don't mind me plugging, I have a course in May that comes out. They call the Advanced Grant Writing course. If you're interested in that, starts in May 14th.
and Lisa threw her email out there so people can do that again.
Thank you, Lisa.
It's not
That's
an
great.
invite only or an application-based grant. It is something you have to work with the province. So again, if you've got a business that is trying to attract or looks like they might be looking to leave, reach out to Lisa there at Jet and she can put you in touch.
Yeah. Kim's seeing that. Oh, there it is. Good stuff. Got the party started this time. This is fun. Thank you so much, Lisa, for jumping in here.
Always great to have our friends from the government of Alberta attend these and be
Yeah,
able to help us out. So it's most appreciated. Thank you.
it really is. Yeah, it's great. Yes, it is, Laura. I'll put the link to it. It's the same thing. This is basically a mini class we just went through, although except for in the class, people participate. Um, Here's a class here if anyone is interested. Any other questions, comments about? Oh, her email is not. Oh, Rochelle's saying her email is not appearing in the chat.
I've posted it
Okay,
subsequent.
thanks, Rochelle. Uh, how was the format? Format okay, Rochelle? Is that class available the same way? This was, yes, it was, Laura. I think that's any other questions? Anyways, we hope that you appreciate that because we think with the we're trying to give you tools, right? So you get the grant calendar, you get this, you can put this in. Okay, great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good, good, good. Okay, good. They love that. That's exciting. I'm really glad because I wanted it that way too. Now you've got this document you can share, you can build it, you can make it your own. You'll be really cooking with gas now.
One other random question for you there, not random, but question for you is where do you see the most money being left on the table?
Jordan, good question. Uh, where do you see the most money left on the table? Well, uh, I'm gonna think about that. It's funny because I've got multiple thoughts. Like, I read a lot of articles on grants because I have things, and sometimes they used to close grants that weren't fully funded. But really, Jordan, the best advice I can give you on that is a couple of things. One is get clear on your projects, right? Like a lot of what happens in grants, you can control, is what I'm trying to say. So get clear on your projects, build trust with the grant agency, get their feedback, do some research up front, like I'm showing you, and then submit a high quality application. It's kind of like what I'm trying to say is in grants, you want to be like, people are bought in. They're like, oh yeah, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get new pathways. We're putting an application. It's good, and that's how I would go about it. Probably a good time to shout out our program, and that is in. If you're not already, we get the Gazette. We have a whole section on municipal grants. We have a whole database on like 300 grants. Here it is here that you can search totally for free, thanks to ABmunis. So there it is there. You can go in and search, but I would follow the Gazette every week and you can search there as well. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I really like the idea of seeing what other people have funded. So good question though, Jordan.
Not seeing anything in the Q&A box, so
Yeah. Jordan, when you say left on the table, by the way, like usually big money is in, you're going to find it in environment, right? Agriculture, technology, things like that. You'll find a ton more in the municipal section. Wow. Okay. You will get a survey on your feedback. So if you like this one, I think our next one will be in the fall, and we'll kind of do a similar format type this. We'll do a deep dive in a section for you. Okay.
wonderful.
Thanks, Kurt. Glad you enjoyed it. All right,
Thanks,
Jeff,
everyone.
we're good to go.
I think we're good.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Glad you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the fall. Have a great summer if we're not talking to you. Bye bye.